Zubin Mehta became the music director of the Los Angeles Philharmonic at age 24. He was the youngest conductor ever to hold such a position with a major symphony. Since then, he has worked with most of the great performers of our time and conducted orchestras from New York to Berlin. He is currently on tour with the Israel Philharmonic Orchestra. He was named its music director for life in 1981. This year, they both celebrate their 60th birthdays. They have been together for almost half that time, and we're pleased to have him back on this program. Welcome back.
Thank you.
When you look at those people that have influenced you the most, who's had significant influence on you as a musician?
Well, first of all, my father. My father was a self-taught violinist in Bombay.
Yeah.
He founded the Bombay Symphony. He's taught himself to play the Beethoven Violin Concerto before he went to New York and restudied everything, because he had, of course, bad habits that he had formed.
But he
himself.
had no teacher?
No.
Nobody?
No teacher. He taught himself the violin, hearing the first recordings in the 1920s. You know, those one-sided 78s of Heifetz and Zimbalist, Kreisler, these great violinists. Suddenly he heard music that he had never heard before. And so he was the miracle in my family.
He was, and he made you, just the fact that he loved music, and music was his profession,
yeah,
drew you in.
Yes, I don't remember the first time I heard music.
Really?
Yeah.
It was always there?
Always in my home. You know.
Yeah. When did you say, it's my life?
When I had already entered university in Bombay and on my way to becoming a doctor, I said, that's not for me. In other words, I first said, I didn't say that music is for me. I said, medicine is not for me.
Yeah. And then, but the love of music was always there,
Yes,
so
yes.
it was
Love,
the obvious thing.
Hopefully a little knowledge had been accumulated already.
Had he pushed you at all?
No.
None?
No, not at all. Because, you know, in India, the bourgeois society, the middle class or upper middle class, we have very few professions.
Yeah, yeah. It would seem to me being a conductor is a great job, because you've got the whole creative thing about music. You're also part of building something, which is an orchestra, and making it come together. You're part general, in a sense. You've got lots of things that you bring in together. You've got to be an interpreter. You've got to be a teacher. I mean, it calls on about every skill that a human being needs.
It's a composite of so many dimensions, as you've very well put, I must say.
Yes.
That's why, on the surface, it's a very simple profession, and yet you have so few really great conductors.
Why is that?
And that's the enigma. Because there's something mystical about it, no doubt. On the surface, it is very simple, and yet you say you have to build. But you not only have to build your orchestra, concert after concert, but you also have to build the masterpieces you're interpreting.
Yeah.
You have 115 odd thinking minds in front of you. Yeah. They have opinions, they are very fine musicians, they have thought about what they are doing, and you have to convince all of them in a cohesive manner.
Well, they don't dare rebel against a conductor, do they?
No, but they dare tell you their opinions. and my door is open for suggestions. And it happens, I mean, I'm going now to a rehearsal.
Yeah.
I will have suggestions for this evening's concert.
You'll have suggestions.
Sure.
For
sure.
Somebody will come in and say,
very respectfully, I don't agree with you.
Now, what would they disagree with? Give me an example of something that a member of the orchestra might disagree with.
For instance, he might say, look, at the last concert where you played the same, we're on tour now, this particular part, you sort of took so fast, I can't play the notes. That's a practical suggestion.
Yeah, right.
Then
you took it so fast, meaning you just can't...
Well, because by that time that we were sort of interpreting the symphony, we come to a part where the momentum, the adrenaline is such that it does get a little bit faster than you want it.
Right.
Let's say
it's almost like a galloping horse that is taking on...
Yes, it's 6 galloping horses that you have to control. And sometimes you have to let them run themselves. Yeah. And sometimes they run away. Yeah. And your job is when to interfere, when to give them that right rhythmic impulse, when to prepare a person for what is going to happen, the contact between conductor and the leading members of the string section, the first stands, you know, that you sort of have constant eye contact with.
Yeah.
You have to prepare them. Now I want this attack that's coming up, a soft attack, a hard attack, which is of course also formulated at rehearsals. But a lot happens at concerts. A lot.
It does.
Yes.
In the dynamic of the moment.
Interpreting at the moment. You've set your rules. Your cards are all on the table, but then you are really interpreting at the moment, and you're also letting your colleagues interpret.
And the interpretation is based on what you are, what the sound you're sharing at the moment,
or the point of construction you are in the symphony, because the symphony has a form.
Right.
Every movement, whether it's what we call a sonata form, or you have a minuet, or you have a lead form, these are different forms. These are different musical structures. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the conductor has to have in mind the shape of the structure, especially when you get into a major Mahler symphony, which is an extended form, or a tone poem of Strauss, or a Wagner opera, which in that sense has no structure, which has the structure comes from the drama on stage.
Who is your favorite? I mean, who do you most want to be with as a composer?
I can't tell you that.
You can't. There's no one that...
No.
If I said to you, Zubin, a month from now, you are going to play your last symphony, your last performance, your last concert. Choose well, because not because you're going to die, but because you're going off to do something greater, you know? We have a great mission for you. You don't know what music you'd want to play for that?
If you gave me that challenge, yes.
Yeah, you do know.
Yeah.
What would it be?
It would probably
off
be
the top of your head.
One of the last symphonies of Mozart. It would probably be the Eroica of Beethoven. These are pieces I could play every day of my life.
And enjoy every day of your life.
Oh, yeah. Thoroughly enjoy.
What is it about them?
There would also be something of Wagner.
Right.
Also.
Mozart, so the last symphony is some Wagner.
Mozart, Wagner, and Beethoven.
And Beethoven.
Yeah.
Well, you can't go wrong there.
Well, that's why I became a musician, because I love this, what I just told, these pieces, these works, and their brothers and sisters.
Do you listen to music all the time? I mean, is it music in your house, in your car, all the time? Or do you...
Or in my head.
In your head. You hear it in your head.
Well, if I'm doing 5 or 6 concerts a week, as I do in Israel, where I rehearse in the morning, I hear auditions most of the afternoon, and I have a concert at night. The spaces in between, the music never leaves me.
Yeah.
And mostly at night, we study for the next program.
The thing that you said, there are so few great conductors, because there's some X factor that makes greatness that we don't know, right?
Well, it's the combination of all the qualities you described before that come into a fusion with certain conductors, certain musicians, and others have a few of the qualities and not all of them. And that's why it's difficult.
Apart from family, what's the best moment for you as a musician? Is it when you're standing on the podium and it's coming together and you hear it the way you hear it in your ear, the way you hear it in your brain, and it's...
Well, whatever piece I happen to be interpreting, I have the ideal vision of the performance.
Vision?
Yes, it's an audio vision.
Audio vision, right. Yeah.
It happens very rarely
that
I
get
hear
it perfect.
Yes. Wow. But when it happens, it doesn't have to be the entire piece. It can be a 4-bar phrase. It can be a transition from one section of the symphony to another, which we've been striving for, and suddenly it becomes logical. And everybody is at one.
Yeah.
Everybody is in harmony. It's wonderful. Or, like in the last movement of the Jupiter Symphony of Mozart, where there are 4 themes going on at the same time.
Yeah.
You feel you're in the middle of the cosmos. You know? This genius who died shortly after he wrote, you know, the Jupiter Symphony, then the Magic Flute, and it was all over. He put in everything he knew at that point. And there are several, many composers. Verdi, when he wrote Falstaff, at the end of his life, put in everything he had learned throughout his life. Verdi was an older man. And you feel that very strongly. And when you can achieve that through rehearsing, coaxing wonderful musicians to work with, and it functions. Like I did the Ring of Wagner in Chicago recently. A lot of it functioned. A lot of it just made sense because I had great singers to work with. And this contact that I said that happens between myself and an orchestra musician, same thing happens between a conductor and a singer, if you have contact. If the singer knows that he can trust the conductor also. Sometimes we carry them in our arms to where they want to go. And they feel good about it.
You carry them in your arms to a place and then they take off.
Musically. You help them. You know where they're going and you coax them and they know that they can trust you. First of all, that you won't play too loud that nobody will hear them. They trust. A singer has to trust a conductor. Of course, the conductor has to earn the trust too.
Yeah. And it's unspoken. I mean, you don't go to the singer and say,
most
you can
of it is
trust me.
unspoken.
Yeah.
It happens during rehearsal.
Yeah, they learn.
One feels that.
Kind of feeling.
One feels that.
I want to talk a little bit about the tour, but take a look at this. This is you in 1994 with the Israel Philharmonic. Here it is. Take a look. I saw Ozawa conduct the Vienna Philharmonic doing Mahler's Fifth with the choir, a huge choir.
No, Mahler's Second, probably,
that's the second. It was extraordinary.
One of the great pieces. And with a good conductor like Ozawa and a great orchestra, you must have had a wonderful performance.
It was amazing to me, because I mean, I'd never seen. Is it a difficult piece? It is.
Any Mahler symphony is difficult. It's a concerto for every instrument in the orchestra.
Yeah.
But it's very gratifying. Orchestras love to play it too.
Yeah. Do you do much experimenting? Are you reaching out for contemporary composers?
Oh, yes. I did it more when I was music director in Los Angeles or Montreal or New York, even before that in Montreal. Absolutely. One has to give young composers a chance.
To be heard.
Yes, absolutely.
By the finest symphonies in the world, to see.
Yes, because they have to hear their mistakes too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is our really it's our moral duty to help young people. I'm going to get 50 scores now.
Yes, of course. Good. Let me know if you play one of them. You're now on an 8-city tour. You play tonight. Yeah. You're on an 8-city tour with the Israeli Philharmonic.
Yeah. For us, it's a short tour.
Yeah. What cities?
Well, we started in Chicago.
Right.
Then we played in Ann Arbor. We played at the University of New York in Purchase, New Haven, twice at Carnegie Hall. Then we go to Las Vegas.
Oh, Las Vegas?
Yes. Now, Las Vegas, the concert is on Saturday night. Friday, Israel Philharmonic doesn't play.
Right.
Friday night, they will be let free in Las Vegas. I might have a very depressed orchestra on Saturday night.
They've lost everything at a gaming table.
Yeah. Plus, I hope they go to a gaming table because at least they won't be tired of pulling those handles, you know.
So they wouldn't
Yeah,
be,
because
they'd be too
it's
tired
tiring,
to do it. Yeah.
tiring.
Good luck to you. It's great to have you on the program.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
Bye.
Zubin Mehta.